Can attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, present itself in an adult if that person had never been diagnosed with the brain disorder as a child? That is one of the intriguing new questions researchers are asking in light of two recent large studies. Joining us now to discuss is WSJ's Sumathi Reddy. Sumathi, thanks for being with us. So what is traditionally understood about how this brain disorder presents itself?
So ADHD is considered something that starts in childhood. You're kind of born with it. A lot of people do outgrow the symptoms as they age, as they get older. So that's the way it's generally considered.
Generally. And so tell us about these two new studies released in May and what questions they're bringing up.
Sure. So there's two large studies in JAMA psychiatry that have followed a very large cohort of children, one in the United Kingdom and another one in Brazil. And they found that they've assessed them at different ages, 5, 10, and then finally at 18. And they found a large number of the people who have ADHD at 18 did not have it when they were children, which is considered unusual.
Incredible. Over 67% of the children who had ADHD at age 18, according to one of the studies, did not have it as a child. Yeah. Researchers were quite surprised by that.
Yeah, so there's very little overlap in both studies. And these studies were kind of done, in totally different areas.
Right.
There's very little overlap. And there was a similar study in New Zealand last year that was published that also found the same thing.
So now, again, these are 18-year-old brains. They're not 35-year-old brains. Mm-hmm. So is there an indication that perhaps a teenager, even an 18-year-old, their brain is still developing?
Yes. So there's several possible explanations, and they haven't really figured out which one it is. Mm-hmm. One is that, okay, these people, when they were children, they had strong support systems, so they could compensate for these problems.
So they probably had it, but were able to get by.
Yes, and that's sort of how most people would explain it, most of the sort of mainstream field. Mm-hmm. But these researchers said that another possibility is that these are completely different syndromes, distinct syndromes, and that deserves further research and exploration.
So is there a possibility that any adult could develop this later in life?
About 4 to 5% of adults in the U.S. have ADHD, and a lot of them did not have it as children, but most people believe that it was just overlooked, that it was not diagnosed.
Right.
That might not be true.
But these studies were so large and so influential that many doctors you spoke to are now saying that they will adjust their diagnoses going forward.
Oh, well, that was one person.
Okay.
There is still a lot of skepticism in the clinical field, and they think that there needs to be more research and more larger sample sizes and more studies.
Right, so we will see what happens. All right, Sumathi Reddy, thank you so much for that.